Hey everybody, it's Randy again. So this video is going to be a little bit out of my wheelhouse. It's going to be a little bit different from the reviews that I normally do on my channel. And it's going to be my first attempt to do a video of my opinion on a firearm. Before I get into this video, I want to make sure that everybody understands where I'm coming from on this. I am not a professional. I do not do any type of competition. I'm not with law enforcement. I don't have a military background. I really have absolutely no credentials to give anybody a review, so to speak, on this particular firearm. I do own a number of guns, and I believe I'm fairly proficient in the use of them, but I certainly would not hold myself out to be an expert by any means. So with that out of the way, let's talk about this new firearm that I purchased. This is the Taurus G2C 9mm. When you buy the firearm from a store, it comes in a plastic bag. It comes with this gun lock. Taurus gives you two 12-round magazines, steel, which is nice. They've got the yellow followers, which I always like. They also have the witness holes down here at the bottom at, I believe that is 6 and at 12 rounds. Since we're going to be shooting here in a few, I've already filled this magazine up. There's 12 rounds in there of 9mm. And here's an empty that we'll load up here in just a second. I have several Taurus firearms. Taurus is made in Brazil, and this is the first Taurus 9mm concealed carry that I've purchased. And I'm very confident that this would be a perfect weapon for self-defense if that need ever arose. Hope the audio comes out. It's starting to get a little bit windy, but here's the weapon when it's completely with the rack all the way back. It has a one safety measure here on the trigger, where the trigger will not go all the way back unless you're actually holding that down, just to make sure everybody knows the weapon is clear. It has a thumb safety over on this side, and here is the slide release. Over on this side, it has the magazine release, and we're going to take a look at that, see how that works. So I'm going to put the empty magazine into it, and we're just going to see how this one drops by pressing the mag release button that's down here, which I like is that's made of steel or some type of metal. It's not plastic. Perfect. And here's the view from this side. Here's the thumb safety. So there you can't pull the trigger at all. And that's the mag release button again. This is how you take the gun apart. It has instructions that come with the weapon in the box, but it's just like a Glock. You pull down on this tab. There's also another tab over on the other side. You just pull down on those, press the trigger just slightly, and pull the whole rack back, and you can disassemble it very easily to clean. Another interesting safety measure this particular weapon has that I was surprised to see at this price point. I bought this weapon for just under $300, and right here at the top it has a loaded chamber indicator, which basically means that this weapon is loaded and it's ready to fire. I'm going to show it to you here in just a second, but I want to see if you can get a good look at it. It's also nice and flush and should not interfere with the sights at all. So we can see what that loaded weapon indicator looks like. Here's when it's down. It's empty. There's nothing in it. Here's a loaded magazine. Put it back. Cocked. It's ready to fire. And as you can see here from the top, it's raised and it's red. It has two rear sights with a white dot and also has one front sight at the the very front. That one is fixed. However, the sights here in the back, you can actually adjust those for windage and for elevation. What does that mean for you and for me? Absolutely nothing. I've found for my purposes as a weekend warrior, somebody who just likes to shoot every now and then, that the sights are perfectly fine when they come from the factory. Typically you see these rear sights that are adjustable for windage, that's left and right, and for elevation, obviously up and down, are for people that are competing or where marksmanship is, the high priority. For me, if I can hit something between here and about 30 feet away and have a, a friendly grouping on that, hey, I'm happy. I also want to talk about these grips. These are nice. The body right here is a polymer, but the grips right here are fairly aggressive. There's one in the back, and then two here on the side, and then one on the front. So it has a nice textured grip to it. Another thing so far that I really like about this particular weapon is the size of the grip. When you put the magazine into the weapon, it has a little pinky extender there. So it feels really good in my hand. I really like how it feels so far. And finally, before we go out and shoot, it also has another interesting accessory right here. It has a rail where you can put a light, you can put a laser, something like that. All right, we're gonna really go old school today. I'm using a foam board, and I don't even have a pen with me to make a circle and make a bullseye. So I just use that stick that's holding it up to make a muddy circle. So we're gonna pace that off to about 30 feet and take some shots and see what happens. All right, let's go see how we did. So keeping in mind that was the very first magazine put through that gun. That's 30 feet, and I'm not a good shooter. That is not too bad. I started squeezing the trigger pretty fast just because it's kind of fun. This thing has what's called a double strike capability, where once you pull that trigger all the way back, you don't have to go all the way back out to pull it again. So you could actually shoot pretty quickly with this thing. I'm going to go see if I have another foam board, and we're going to shoot again, and this time I'm actually going to aim. There's that raised indicator again. All right, let's go shoot it. Okay, so for me, that was actually pretty good. In fact, that was really good for me. That was 30 feet away. The one at the top, that was my first shot, and the one at the very bottom was my second shot, until I finally settled down a little bit and used the sights the way they were supposed to be used. Looks I'm a little bit left, but that's all right. That's me. That's not the sights. I'm not a professional shooter or anything like that. But that's a nice grouping, and no hiccups with the firing, anything like that. Okay, so we put a total of 24 rounds through it. No misfires, no stove topping. Those that don't know what that means, it's when a casing doesn't get fully ejected out of there. It's kind of stuck up and down inside the chamber right there. As you can see, it's clear. Go ahead and close that. Put the safety on. Those serrations right here are also very nice. It helps pull that rack back manually. Has some indentions right here, which is nice just for muscle memory to keep your finger away from the trigger. The trigger itself, again, this is unloaded. We've just checked that. The trigger itself, for somebody who has nothing to compare it to, this won't really mean much. But I did notice that there is a lot of travel. It goes all the way back before it fires, which is fine, just something you have to get used to. Once you lift up just a little bit, you can hear it reset and you can fire again. And it really does fit my hand nicely. So I've enjoyed this gun so far. We've put a grand total of 24 rounds through it. Really do like this grip. Nice place for your thumb. Nice place up here just for some good muscle memory to keep your finger away from the trigger. Nice serrations to help pull that rack back when you need to. Safety comes on easily with the thumb. That pinky extension really does make the difference, because although this is considered a compact concealed 9mm, that extra room right there really makes all the difference in the world. Also has a thumb, I don't know if you can see that, it also has a thumb indentation. Yeah, I really like this. Alright, so I'm looking forward to putting this through its paces. We are going to do a subsequent video on this after I've put at least 500 rounds through it, and see if there's any hiccups, see if there's any misfires, anything like that. I would say that we shot this straight out of the box, but that's not entirely true. I pulled it out of the box and then put some oil here on the slide and pulled the rack back and put some oil in there. I just find that to be a good habit to do. So when I get home, I'll probably clean this up, put a little bit more oil on it, and store it away for our next adventure on this. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. I've never done a opinion video on a gun before, so I really would appreciate if anybody would comment, tell me what they liked about the video, what I could do better in my opinions. But that's all I've got, and I look forward to seeing everybody on the next adventure. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.